Hello, I'm Guanaloco Lobo, and this is another installment of It's Just Like My Opinion. New World. We are back. Oh yeah, scored a drop. Clean it. Another full disclosure for everybody watching this video is I am in the New World Creator Program. They did send me like beta keys and all that sort of stuff. So just to let you know that, full disclosure and all that sort of stuff, there you go. A nice point to make at the beginning is that they gave us, as creators, so many tools and all sorts of neat stuff going into this closed beta, which I'm really impressed with, and they very clearly want this game to be successful. So whatever that may mean for the future of the game, it seems positive to me. I was part of the initial New World preview in 2020, which I believe was in August, if I'm not mistaken. I'm honestly not sure. Time really flies when there's a pandemic. But when I hit it the first time, I didn't know what it was. I had never heard of New World, nor did I know that Amazon was making games. I didn't know to expect a new MMORPG, which is always something I wanted to get in on the ground floor of, but I've only ever really been successful in Destiny. So I went into the preview completely blind off a recommendation from a friend, and it definitely gripped me, and I compared it to things like RuneScape, etc., etc. And then that preview ended, and we waited for a long time. One release date has rolled past already. The game has been pushed back, so we've been waiting extra long, and I've since picked up other games like WoW and RuneScape to scratch the MMORPG itch that the New World preview left me with. So I feel a lot more prepared going into it this time for the closed beta so that I can look at it in a critical manner. And so I'll do that now, since you may be here to listen to my opinion. Now to start off, I'm just going to be overly positive because this game is great. Everything looks beautiful. All the visuals in the world, the way the environment looks, the way enemies look, the way armor and weapons look, especially things like the Ice Gauntlet, which is one of my personal favorites. Its animations upon drawing it and stowing it are epic. Everything looks gorgeous. When you level up, the little badge that appears with the number in it is very visually pleasing. The spells you shoot are very visually pleasing. Honestly, the monsters, the way they die and dissolve is very visually pleasing. Everything is definitely designed perfectly to be pleasing to the eye. The way the box appears when you're accepting a friend request or a group request are all pretty. The menus are a little clunky, I guess. It's a little hard to grasp at first, but once you realize what they are, super easy to understand and handle because everything's going to be in its particular space all the time, and then your weight is that you can carry is displayed at the top, and then when the bag's closed, the weight bar is displayed around the bag, so it's pretty simple. The UI is very straightforward. Even a brand new MMORPG player could grasp it easily, especially if they were already an experienced video game player. The visual delight of the game is matched by the audio quality. The sound design in New World is spot on. Everything sounds perfect. When you shoot a spell at your feet, fireball explodes at your feet. Sounds like it's exploding at your feet. And if you step it up and fire that fireball at the ground a little bit further and further and further away, each step of the way it sounds different. That can't be easy to do. The way the gunshots sound are incredible. The way it sounds when you hit a tree with an axe or you hit a rock with a pickaxe. It's not difficult to activate the resource collecting action, which is also very satisfying because you can just mash the button and watch for some reason. That's satisfying because of how it sounds and how it looks. The sounds when you ding or level up or enter a new area or discover something new or level up your weapon. It's all extremely satisfying. Even Detective told me that while he was sitting in the room, just listening to the game was super pleasing because it's all designed to be perfect. The combat is so satisfying. We all expressed at some point how easy it would be to stay on the beach and just whoop the ass of every single one of the drowned sailors you could see, because not only was it exciting and you could kill them faster and faster if you figured out your abilities and how to chain them together, but you're also leveling up your character, and you're leveling up your mastery of your weapons, which unlocks new abilities. And like I said, you can learn to chain those together to kill the monsters faster. And so in my eyes, the combat's great, because in an MMO, usually grinding combat's kind of boring because you just right-click something, whack, 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 until somebody's dead. Basically the same idea. It's not super easy to avoid attacks. You do have to get kind of skilled and I think be pretty min-maxed to actually manipulate the combat system enough to prevail in situations where you're outmatched. That being said, I never did PvP, so I don't really know. That's just my understanding of the game based on PvE and the few duels I witnessed. The weapon mastery system is really exciting because it's like picking a skill tree for a weapon. So you can approach a sword in a DPS fashion, or you can approach it in like a guard fashion. Primarily use your shield to damage, and will eventually get buffs for defensive capabilities, while the aggressive DPS subtree will give you benefits towards DPS, obviously, and ability cooldowns, etc. Also, it'll have more aggressively structured abilities. That being said, the weapon pool seems a little sparse, especially with the extra time they've had. There's still only so many weapons. Like there's like a fire staff, an ice gauntlet, a musket, a bow, sword, spear. Big weapons like battle axes and hammers. But that's like kind of it. There isn't like an ice staff or a fire gauntlet. At least not yet. I'm sure they're working on stuff like that, but there just isn't yet. That strikes me as strange, and it is makes me a little apprehensive, you know. It's easy to get access to all the weapons now in the beta. You just buy them off the shop. You get money pretty quick. Also, the ability trees are a little sparse. There's like maybe 2 or 3 for each weapon, and there's only like, even though you can pick what you're unlocking in this subtree, there's only 3 abilities. You can't choose a different ability. There's just other little upgrades. It isn't really an option once you pick the tree. You're just filling the tree out. So that could be expounded upon, and hopefully it will be. I bring up little negative things like that just to temper the overwhelmingly positive attitude I have going into it. The quests aren't super deep. The questing system is fun in the sense that you go from one place to the other, like in WoW, and collect a stack of turn-inable quests. For example, you head out of the town with like 6 quests. You track them all down individually, and then it takes a little while in each area to complete them, whether it's a kill mission or a collect mission. The quests are not very diverse. You're pretty much killing or collecting. But I mean, what else is there to do, I guess? There are PvP quests I did not try. So those could be the diversity I'm claiming is missing from the PvE quests. But I'm on a tangent. You leave town with a stack of 6 quests, track them all down individually and complete whatever they are in their area, while also hunting and skinning to level up your skinning abilities and collect some food to cook when you get back to level up your cooking. Or if you see an iron vein while you're going from one place to the other, you can collect some iron, level up your mining, cut down some trees, that sort of thing. So it's not just questing. You can go on a resources run and collect a bunch of things at one time. So there's a big satisfying return home to the village where you make a bunch of things that you collect the resources for, and you turn in all the quests. Other than that, the quests are kind of Leveling weapons up makes questing really fun. So you can choose different weapons to start at level 1 with all of them and just unlock abilities and see what they're all about, while respecking your character's stats to more complement them. Since it is the beta, it does seem they've let you just respec things as you see fit. There is a cap on it. It says at level 20 where you have to pay some sort of high-level mat, I guess, to re-roll your specs. But then, once you do, you can wield anything out of the, 15 or so weapons. But I would like to see more things in the weapon pool, like pistols, or a fire gauntlet. Maybe different kinds of staffs, an earth staff that creates earthquakes and shoots rocks, that sort of thing. Different schools of magic, gravity spells and stuff would be exciting. Hopefully we'll see all of that in the future of the game. Who knows? Meantime, I am satisfied with what they've given us as far as weapons and abilities in the early game. There is more than enough to fill our time, I believe. Once it comes out in the end of August 31st, 2021, there'll be plenty to do as far as leveling and finding new areas, trying to beat the dungeons they've got, and getting high-level gear. We won't run out of things to do. And that being said, I did mention at the beginning that I'm mentioning here to bring us back around. It's a little difficult getting grouped in this game because you got to make sure you pick the right server and all that sort of stuff. Especially with this beta, it was kind of a challenge. The group of people that I'm playing with chose a server based on its name, and it seems that we chose a server that every large streamer on Twitch also chose. So my approximate wait time for the Atlantis server was 1 hour and 50 minutes when I first logged in. About 2 or 3 minutes after 12. That was just because we chose a server that was hugely trafficked. And I think that might have been because of the streamers picking it. But either way, I did wait 1 hour and 50 minutes approximately. And this is a, fast motion of that. And I played RuneScape while that was going on to get me even further into the MMO mood. But anyway, going along with the questing, the servers were clunky, of course, because it's a beta. And also, everybody was trying to get onto different ones because they were trying to avoid the long queue times. There was once that we played for a while on Atlantis, and the whole server, I don't know if the whole server crashed, but a lot of us got kicked out and then went back to get in line, and it was like hours and hours long. So we found another server, had to start our characters over. I started, I think, 3 characters on the first day. And like the second, I don't like doing that at all. I don't like re-leveling characters. I usually only roll 1 on MMOs anyway, and then just run them through raids for everybody else's character, and not collect loot except for the first time, just because I don't want any more than. But anyway, started over 3 times, and I had a blast. It was fun to try and finish the quests even faster, just because I didn't care about their content really. No offense, but I was just like trying to finish them even faster because I knew pretty much what they were and where to go. That was exciting. And also to see what new gear I was going to get out of the boxes to try out and level up and see if it had cool stuff that I enjoy doing. We tried to group up because that was the whole reason we were server chasing in the first place, so we could stay in the same group. But the grouping system's kind of boring in my opinion. The first time when we were like exploring and trying to figure out what we were doing was pretty neat when we got in a group. But only really to find each other on the map. There weren't any other benefits that I could tell. We didn't all share experience or money or anything like that, like in other MMOs. So that seemed kind of to fall short for me. It was fun. We would join a group, but we wouldn't even really hang out in the same area. It was just so we'd have the group chat to talk in. And once we started a company, we could just use that. So there wasn't really any reason to group in open world, kind of like there is in WoW and stuff. I imagine for the higher level content like dungeons, maybe there will be. I mean, there definitely will be. It'll be more exciting to group. But I mean, we won't really get any fringe benefits, it would seem. Another thing that causes that to be a little frustrating are the factions. Everyone has to agree on the same faction, otherwise you can't really participate in PvP together, from my understanding, which is kind of lame. But I mean, I understand why it has to be that way. But that makes grouping up with your friends and stuff even more challenging, especially if people don't want to start another character. But like I said, this game is very inviting to that for some reason. Leveling another character is super fun. But the server resets where we had to start over. Not to mention, when you start the game, all of you are starting in different areas. Perhaps you might start in the same area, but you don't know. And then traversing the map to get to one another is a challenge because of the mobs in between you and your friends. So we would die a lot, and it's a long walk to get back. So that was very frustrating. There is a character creation screen at the beginning. It is what it is. They added plenty of content to it. It doesn't need much more. However, I am disappointed that there's only one race. I haven't seen other races walking around, but it would be nice if there were like different races or some other way to differentiate your character from others and give you like a fringe benefit that isn't just the factions, because the factions are a little bland. There's only 3. Pretty neat in picking their ideologies, but basically you're just picking a color and a set of armor to pick from when you complete missions. And I think you can change your faction every 120 days, so you can level them up as you go along. But the PvP affects the world around you as far as taxing goes, and like the areas that you would normally be trying to run your materials in will be controlled by one faction one day and then by another day. That didn't affect me in the beta yet, but I imagine it will and when the full game comes out. The crafting system and the resource gathering is absolutely perfect. Those are 2 of my favorite things to do in MMOs, and they absolutely nailed it in this game. Everything is perfect. The resource loops, collecting everything, chopping down a bunch of trees and getting a massive amount of wood. The way the wood is numbered out in your inventory. The way you can craft a huge stack of things at one time to see your level go up on a massive chunk. All that's extremely satisfying. They killed it. Seems like you'll be able to add a bunch of things to it. I've been finding all sorts of special materials on fallen mobs and in treasure chests that I haven't figured out how to use yet. And I've gotten some green items that have slots in them for gemstones I haven't found yet. There's plenty to do, and there's so much more to come, I would imagine. So I'm excited to try and train up my armoring and my weapon crafting and all that. to see what all I can make. So when I was making tools, I accidentally made a higher level green rather than an uncommon when crafting a pickaxe, which is extremely exciting for me. I will admit, I am a little apprehensive at how well the game draws me in. It's very clearly designed, like a casino or something like that, to draw you in and keep you there. But it's designed so well. It's almost scary. They did a great job. I think about this game a lot since I've played it. I took a day off from it today while making this video, and I thought about playing it all day. And I might even play it after finishing this video. But I am apprehensive about how Amazon will handle it. I don't trust easily these days when it comes to video games and video game developers. I'm just apprehensive. Will there be a store? Will it cost money to do this, that, and the other? Will you have to buy a subscription eventually? Will there be a bunch of battle passes? Probably will be. Game as a service. That's what you're looking for. But will it toe the line? I guess is the question in my mind. Will it toe the line or will it kill itself? Will there be a catch? As a gamer in the 2020s, I have been let down countless times in countless ways by bunches of games that I was looking forward to coming out. And this game is a shining light that makes you go, please, please be the one to break that cycle. Let me trust games again. Let me trust game developers again. Let me trust that this is cool. Let this be cool because the game is going to be really cool. And we're all going to have been here at the beginning and seen it in its infancy, watched it come up, and get to experience it together as a group as it goes forward, and it will only continue to get better and not worse. Let us have that. Give us that one time. We haven't had it in so long, it feels like. What with Blizzard and all those other dudes fucking up. Anyway, this is Guano Loco Lobo, Amazon New World Creator.